move this because I want to share a few words at this time. I want to thank an incredible team of musicians and clergy. They are planners by nature, and I like pure spontaneity in worship, which is a hard combination for them, not for me. So I want to thank them. Not only do I like spontaneity in worship, just taking it where things move us, but I had no idea what I was going to share until a few days ago, which is very unusual for me. I like to think throughout the whole summer, but I really didn't know what today's events would bring. And so I waited. I also want to thank the members of the congregation who have emailed me about what I should say during the High Holy Days. I have never heard from so many people in this congregation by email within a month instructing me what I should speak about on the High Holy Days. I should have written this 6 months ago. But in all seriousness, I want to thank each and every one of you for your emails. I do appreciate them, and more importantly, I am inspired by the passion that is in this community. And as I look out into the congregation, I see lots of passionate people. I am going to read a couple of these emails. I will not include your names if you recognize yourself, but I read them with tremendous love. So here we go. Received an email a couple of weeks ago. Rabbi, if you don't speak about the starvation in Gaza on Rosh Hashanah, I no longer feel there will be a place for me at Beth Elohim. I cannot imagine sitting in a synagogue without you addressing this issue. And then a few hours later, Rabbi, if you do not speak forcefully against the organizations that side with the enemies of the Jewish people, in this case, J Street, I am leaving the temple. And then a few days later, Rabbi, I find it terrifying that the leadership of the synagogue, plus the various Jewish organizations that were set up to protect the Jews, have simply become blind supporters of the Democratic Party. Open borders, two-state solution, Syrian refugee hosting, gun control, DEI, even when most of these causes have proven to be anti-Jew and harmful to our people's safety. I do hope you find the time and the courage to do what may be unpopular, to call out Islam and its war on Israel and the Jewish people. No wonder why rabbinic burnout is at an all-time high. And so today, I just want to begin the Torah service in my words by saying I'm sorry, because I'm going to disappoint a lot of people this year, because I'm not going to dedicate my sermon to current events as I did last year, because today I actually feel compelled to discuss a deeper need in our community, because I fear that in these last 2 years, something happened that I didn't expect. And that's that we're splintering. What used to be disagreements now feel like fault lines in our community. Of course, perhaps we shouldn't be surprised because we live in an increasingly polarized world, exacerbated by internet algorithms that enable us to see only the news we want to see. An AI where it's increasingly difficult to know the difference between fact and fiction, and an incivility and crassness that we are all witnessing that pervades our entire society, and we can't let it come here. And so I've decided that today is a day that I too need to channel my passions into preserving our community, and ask kindly and gently that you will too. Like, I love Israel with all of my heart. It is central to my very being. I would not be a rabbi were it not for Israel. And right now it's in an existential war, and I worry about it every day. And I'm not going to speak about events in Gaza this year, even though the war pains me. To see innocent people suffer, how can it not? I think about the hostages all the time. Young people pulled from their homes or a concert and brought to a foreign land, held in dark tunnels for 718 days. My whole body hurts. And I'm not going to speak about anti-Semitism and its rise as I did 2 years ago, a few weeks before October 7th. The rise in anti-Semitism is not new. We gave out Bob Kraft pins then, and we're giving them out today. We organized committees then, we're organizing them today. And the increase in Jew hatred we know is real. I mean, think about it. We have police with guns standing outside of our building. We have a security team here every day to protect 2-year-old, 3-year-old, and 4-year-olds from going to nursery school. We have security when 5 people play canasta or mahjong. I mean, something is wrong with this picture, and we have to recognize it. I don't see police outside the Chinese restaurant because of the decisions of the Chinese government. I don't see guns outside of the Russian math school because of the policies of Vladimir Putin. And we all know that holding the Jewish community responsible for the decisions of the government of Israel is anti-Semitism, plain and simple, and our society needs to address it. And yet, even though all of these things are real and urgent, I need to talk about something else this year, because today what once felt like disagreements now feel like fault lines. I came to Temple Beth Elohim 25 years ago. It astounds me. I was 32 years old at the time, younger than our youngest rabbi. I was the youngest person on the professional staff. And the board didn't know it at the time, but I would have worked for free. I love this community. We used to laugh back then, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. We're all walking in the same direction, we'd say. We're just stepping on each other's toes every now and then. But now, 25 years later, it seems like 2 Jews, 3 opinions has transformed into 2 Jews, 1 opinion. As many people seek a monolithic community where everyone agrees. And today, I just want to say it's time to return home. The world has stretched us. It's time to return to our core values. For we all know this is not the Jewish way. Jews have always benefited from a healthy debate. There are over 5,000 healthy debates in the Talmud. When the schools of Hillel and Shammai disagreed, and they almost always did, both of their opinions are recorded on the same page. And even though the rabbis usually sided with Hillel, they recorded Shammai's opinions first to demonstrate their desire to listen and to learn, because we are strengthened by respectful debate. This summer, a member of the synagogue angrily wrote me, "Why doesn't the temple sign political statements about the war in Gaza? Why don't we stand for something?" And I told him, the temple doesn't sign any statements. It can't. And he said, why? Why doesn't the temple sign statements? And I reminded him the temple is a building. The temple doesn't sign statements. We do. And we are a diverse community. of nearly 4,000 people, diverse politically, spiritually, generationally, like the people Israel. And our strength lies in our variety, not our uniformity. Can you imagine if we signed statements that were voted on by the board? The board would actually vote on a political statement to sign. And then, if the congregation disagreed with it, they would go to the annual meeting. Now, the annual meeting, if it's a big meeting, we got a problem. But they could go to the annual meeting to vote against the president of the caring community because of their position on the two-state solution. The voting representative, the vice president of Tefillah, would actually be voted on because of their position on Bibi Netanyahu. We are more than that. The temple does not speak for us, only we do. And so today I ask not to turn that over to the building, but instead for you to stand up and make your voice be heard. Get involved in the diversity of the temple or in a separate Israel organization. It doesn't have to be here. There are many ways to stand up, but remember that we are a people that is strengthened by one another. So here's the big ask this year. We as a temple have led the Jewish community in so many ways. We've been written about for Jewish education, our Jewish prayer services, our programs, our social justice initiatives. I would love us to be written about for teaching the world how to listen, how to disagree, how to recognize our shared humanity. We need it. We see it in the news almost every day. We need shalom. A woman came to me last week and asked if I was going to speak about Israel. At first, I thought to myself, oy. Then I thought, at least it's one less thing clogging up my inbox. So I asked her, why do you ask? And she said to me, because her college student who was protesting Israel on campus wouldn't come to synagogue if I talked about Israel this year. It broke my heart. Because whether we agree with the prime minister of Israel or not, Israeli society is certainly mixed. We cannot let any politician define our Judaism. We are not a theocracy. We've never been a theocracy. We do not have an Ayatollah. We are more than this. And in order to model diversity, I ask at this moment we do something else. If you come to an Israel event, and I hope you do, we have so many planned this year. This Friday, we have an incredible speaker from Kfar Aza, one of the kibbutzim that was deeply affected. We learned about Keith Siegel last night, who was taken from Kfar Aza, and they lost so many of their youth. She'll be speaking this Friday. On October 7th, we as a community will be going to the Nova Festival exhibit in Boston. We have purchased over 200 tickets so that solely our community can go on the evening of October 7th. Please contact the temple and join us. We will go to Israel as a mission if there's interest in mid-November. Please let me know. We will address anti-Semitism. And this year, I am handing out a new book by Sarah Hurwitz. It just came out, and it delves into many of these issues that I would address if I had more time, and we'll do it in the future. But I'd love you to read her book. It's called As a Jew. And I have a number of copies outside, but I didn't want to get stuck with hundreds of them. So if you sign up because we run out, we'll order another. More importantly, come back October 28th, as Sarah will be with us to discuss these topics. And finally, we have a new initiative called Circles of Connection, which are small groups where people can gather, not to tell others how to bring peace to the Middle East, but to share what it means to be a Jew at this complicated time in history. to support one another. And here's the big ask. Not just go to Israel events, but to rebalance your Jewish portfolio, which nowadays you need to do quarterly, 4 times a year. For every 2 articles you read about Israel, I'd love you to read 1 about Jewish history, or Jewish theology, or Jewish humor, or Jewish music, or Jewish food, because we are more than this. Come study Torah. Come feed the hungry. Come to Curacao with us as a community, which we'll be doing. Travel with us. Let us rediscover the joys of Judaism. For 2,000 years, our people have experienced difficult moments, and we have been held together. 25 years ago, I arrived to this community, and I continue to be amazed. Over 100 families have joined our community in the last 12 months. This is unbelievable what we're doing here. We can't let politics divide us, whether they be in Israel or in America. Let our Torah unite us. Let our ancient rituals bring us together, even in the most trying of times. And let us as a people continue to hear the call of our tradition, which is to be our best selves, to be the people that God intended us to be, and to pursue the mission of this community, to be on the path to shalom. L'shana tova. Happy New Year. I hope to speak later in the service. I don't know how much time I took just now, but let's read some Torah.